So the UN is considering pressuring Japan and to censor certain anime and manga because they believe some of the content can be harmful and might cause violence toward women globally. The UN's Committee on Elimination of Discrimination Against Women believes that these kinds of media can promote harmful attitudes if displayed in front of men. Now, I'm not a UN expert on this committee, and maybe, rightfully so, a lot of the anime community is upset about this. And I think this is a bit of a stretch, right? But I also don't think their concerns come out of nowhere. This committee includes lawyers and professionals from around the world who probably make a pretty good case, probably a better case for you and I on this issue that's going on right now. But even if they succeed, which I don't think they will, I don't think the issue they're trying to solve will go away. As a Christian, I believe there's a deeper reason why this problem exists, and I believe there's a solution that goes beyond just regulating and censoring content. The idea of censorship can feel foreign here in the US, especially because we have access to pretty much everything, probably to our detriment, whether it's good or bad. Censorship is basically a political system, institution, or individual telling you what you can and can't consume. This is mainly for the reason that it could have the potential to sway people away from how the state wants them to behave or think. But there's a big problem with banning certain content. By limiting access, we're actually discouraging critical thinking. We're actually discouraging people from thinking for themselves. We're not encouraging people to engage in healthy dialogue or challenge different perspectives. This would be like slave owners ripping out parts of the whole Bible that only includes slaves obeying their masters because they're probably could have been a revolt, and the slave could have the idea from the whole scriptures that, hey, you shouldn't treat me this way because I too am also a person made in the image of God, and this is not okay. I also think it goes beyond that as well. Censorship implies that an institution knows what's best for people more than people do themselves, and I don't think that's right. Let's say in the UN's case they censor anime and manga though, to make them as nice and clean as possible. That wouldn't necessarily stop or change the harmful behaviors that are happening, because ultimately the issue is deeper than the content people consume. From a Christian perspective, every single person is flawed due to our sin, and because of this, people are driven to do harmful things. This brokenness isn't limited to the content we consume, it's in our hearts and affects all of us. And I get that this may even be a part of why the UN committee was formed, to try and address the harm that's being done. But even if you take away every harmful element in anime, manga, or video games, it won't stop broken people from doing broken things. Imagine you removed every bit of fan service, for instance, by the way, I'm not a big fan of fan service, but say it's all gone. The UN would still have to keep fighting on behalf of the women they're working to protect, because censorship doesn't reach sin and brokenness in people's hearts. But for the UN and for the anime fans who are upset about this censorship idea, the real solution to discrimination and harm against women is a transformed heart. The only way this can be addressed is by seeing people's hearts and affections change, shifting and viewing women as objects to viewing them as beautifully made in the image of God. This is where Jesus comes in. In Jeremiah 17:9, the Bible talks about how the human heart is deceitfully and desperately wicked. And in Romans 3:23, it states that because of our sin, we all fall short of God's standard of love and respect towards others. But the hope of Christianity is that Jesus, God in the flesh, came, lived the perfect life that we couldn't, and died the death that we would deserve for our sin. And he then rose from the dead so that we could be in relationship with God. And through that relationship, God gives us his spirit to change our hearts and affections and our worldview. Ezekiel 36:26-27, God says, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. And I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit in you and move you to follow my decrees and be careful to keep my laws. Because of Jesus, our hearts and minds can be transformed to view the world differently, and in this case, to view women made in God's image with love, respect, and honor. That is the solution, my friends, to the UN's problem, not censorship. And this goes beyond anime. It goes to all kinds of content that we consume. So, anime fan, I know you don't want anyone interfering with the freedom of creators to express themselves. I get that. But maybe we should take a step back and ask why this UN committee might see this content as problematic. Shoot, I can see why just from how some people act at, you know, conventions around female cosplayers and whatnot. There's a deeper issue, heart issue that's going on here. I'm seeing all these videos of people complaining about censorship and things like that, but maybe kind of the question that we all should be asking ourselves is, how is the media we consume shaping who we are? And could we be better? Hey, thanks for watching the video. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree with the UN's decision to try to do this? How would you go about it? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll catch you later.